Church podcast. The Not Safe for Church podcast. It's not safe, hey. It's not safe, hey. It's not safe. It's not safe. The Not Safe for Church podcast. I want to welcome you to the Not Safe for Church podcast, where we serve the saints and the ain'ts, because Jesus is for everybody. I am your host, Reynald Tiba Amawali Kent. Right now, what can you do? You can like, comment, and subscribe. But y'all, I'm so excited about tonight. I have the Obio Jones on. He is known for creating space. He is a life coach, a social media influencer, and an LGBTQ advocate. And I just love everything about Obio, period. Obio, okay, you got moves tonight. Oh, those are not safe for church.
The intro music is giving me.
Come on, it's giving Magic Obio. Robobo Shata, Ebo Shata. Obio, everybody loves you. I've had people, all my friends, they just love you. So I'm super excited you're back, and we can really have a real interview, because last time you were here, I don't know what that was, but it was a moment. But it was not an interview. It was like a woo. But okay, let's get into this first. In today's episode, we're going to be talking to Obio, and I have so many questions. But before I get there, I have to thank my partners. I want to thank Crossfit, Social City. Can I talk tonight? This Invisalign is trying to keep me from talking right, for being one of my partners in season 2. Make sure you check their gym out. I will be coming back to their gym next month because my schedule is changing, and I'm so excited. I love CrossFit Social City. It's a strength training gym all the way in Spring Valley. It's a good time, good music, good people. If you're new to Vegas, it's the place to go. If you are old to Vegas, it's the place to go. If you need community, you need friends, it is such a loving environment and a place to get your body together. This couple is one of the hottest couple. They both have abs, and they're just so fine. Like, when you see them working out in the gym, it might turn you on, but that's another story. All right, I want to thank For the Love LV for being one of my partners. They're also a great couple. I hang out with so many good couples. You are who you hang around. I'm praying this is my season. But let's talk about their store, For the Love. Oh, God is going to send you love if you go to For the Love on Main Street. Check out their clothing store. They have so many good pieces. If you're coming to Vegas, need to take some stuff back home for family, like, that is the place to go, and make sure you tell them I sent you. And all right, you can support this podcast by 2 ways. You can subscribe and share. It's totally free. Totally free. Subscribe and share. When you see me post something, share it. Share it with your cousins, your auntie, your mama, your baby daddy, all of them. And guess what? You can give and receive, and you can give and receive. Everything is NSFC podcast. And it helps me fund this podcast, helps me continue to do it, and it really means a lot. But all right, we're going to get into today's episode. My topic today is all about creating space. Many of you know Obio was on episode 15 of season 1. I don't know if it's the most played episode because people are just nosy and they want to know your business. I mean, literally, I didn't even have to promote that episode because people were just ready to just know my business, and I was ready to tell it. And so last time Obio was here, I got to share my truth with the world. I don't really consider it coming out. I think I let people in because I was already living this truth, but I wasn't living it openly. And I'm so grateful for Obio coming on. And literally, I think tonight we're talking about creating space, but I think in that moment, I saw Obio literally living his purpose. Because when you're somebody who says they create space, when you go into spaces, you automatically create it, and you make other people feel comfortable to just be honest and be themselves. And Obio, I appreciate you, and I thank you. And I just wanted to say that. Yeah. You're a good man. I really appreciate you. Oh. Woo, it's been a journey, but it's getting better now. We're on in the beginning, it's, when you first come out, it'd be like, oh, hell no. The first month is like amazing. Then the second month, especially when you come from like where I come from, it was like, oh, this is real. Like, they really don't like me no more. I'm uninvited. And then 6 months, it just gets better. Like, the journey gets better, and you find your people, you find your tribe. But Obio, I would love if you would open up tonight telling the people who you are, what do you do, and just give them some background information about you.
Yeah, I'm Obio, native to Atlanta, Georgia. I am, title-wise, I'm an LGBTQ plus advocate, life coach, podcaster, and speaker.
Period.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few colleges, featured in a few magazines. I talk about
Oh, come on, magazines.
advocacy.
What magazines have you been in, Obio? Tell the people.
I
Tell the people, because
was I was in the October issue of Ebony.
Ebony, Ebony.
I am
You
in
talking about
the
Ebony, the one we grew up with in the beauty shops, in the barber shop? You was in Ebony. We got a Ebony magazine person on this. Woo, the
I
Lord.
cannot.
He will
I'm in the
connect you. Robobo Shatadi Diaseke.
Yes, I'm in Ebony. It was also written by a queer man named
Period.
Kenneth. So that's dope. I am also in the February issue of Essence magazine. And so, we're doing what we can in these streets, man, trying to make it happen and advocate for the people. Always, always.
Enlarge my territory. Woo. That's what I feel in my spirit. You know how to do. Woo. Enlarge my. Oh Lord. I'm kidding. I like that song.
Same.
Oh, I'm not. No, I don't. I save that for other times. Praise God. All right, Obio. Something I love about you, and like I remember when I used to watch, like you're creating space, those little episodes on YouTube. I used to watch those all the time in my room, really low, because I didn't want my roommates to hear. And when I was trying to figure out what my sexual, I wasn't trying to figure it out because I was doing stuff. But when I was trying to figure it out, and your tagline is "Create Space."
Yeah.
And I always wonder, like, where did that come from? Like, because it was like through every video, like that's how you end it. So like, it had to be something that caught your attention and was like, this is my thing. Like, where did it come from? How did you get that?
Yeah, I think as a I say closeted man, that's my experience. I'm not projecting on anyone else, but when I was a closeted man, trying to find a safe space was tough, and I think I isolated myself from people, right? I just chose to not be around anybody because I couldn't find any safe spaces. But unbeknownst to me, I wasn't a safe space. So not only did others not create space for me, I didn't create space for myself. And so my channel, my whole purpose in life, I feel like is to create space literally.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the motto came from, right? Just continue to create space, make room for myself and others.
Yeah. Was there like a moment, like, did it like just happen? Like, were you like, this is the tagline, like, this is what I'm gonna live for? Like, or
literally, I was doing the video and I was just like, y'all be good, keep creating space, peace. And that was just what it was. And as I was editing, I'm like, keep creating space. That might have a little ring to it. Let's just run with it. Work with what's working.
Yeah.
And I kept saying it, and now here we are.
Yeah. I believe a lot of people, what they experience from you probably is way more deeper in inner work than we know. Because a lot of times who you are publicly is what you are perfecting privately. And so for me, my question for you is, what are you doing privately to reflect to the world who you are today? Because obviously what you're doing is working. It's working in your favor. It's your season. You're living in your light. Like, it's your moment. And it's like, what are you doing privately to reflect what you're reflecting?
I'm being brutally honest with myself.
Yeah.
And I know that's a scary space for most people, even scarier for people in the LGBTQ plus community, because a lot of that honesty brings about things that are ugly, that internalized homophobia, that shame, that doubt, that fear, that thing that we don't really want to address because we think now that we're out, we're done with the work, and we can just be ourselves, have our relations with guys and do our thing. But there's so much more to the pot, and what I've been doing ever since coming out. I came out in 2019, but ever since then, I think I was 26. How old are you? 20?
Yeah. I think I remember, because I remember watching the video and I was like, I wonder will I come out around the same age? You know how you watch stuff, you're like, I wonder. I said, hell no, I ain't gonna do that shit. That, God bless Obio. God didn't call me to that. I'm good. I like my life. I'm singing, making money for the Lord. That's what I was for the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was my reality. I came out and I lost everybody. All my friends. So I was uninvited to weddings. I was abandoned from church groups. I mean, all the things, And I think I had to get really brutally honest about some of the things that I was bringing for myself. And I think doing that work has helped me to not be a public phony. I'm like, what I project is who I truly am. Somebody who was questioning things. Somebody who was truly advocating privately and publicly. Somebody who was on this journey and really wants to be myself and liberate myself so I can liberate other people. It's important to me.
Yeah. Because whatever you are, you will be the other people. I always think about how when me and my sister literally were talking the other day, and she was like, one thing right now, she was like, I just love how you are yourself now. She was like, because now I feel like I can be myself. And it's like, whoa, like,
Mhm.
because if you're not yourself, somebody else don't feel safe enough to be their selves. But like when you can get on the phone and you both like, I'm like, Herman, girl, da 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 da, and she's like, oh yeah, because da 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 da, you ain't gonna tell her business, you know, because people always get mad at me for telling their business on this podcast. But you know, but it's just crazy. And I think for me, I think another question I want to ask you is, how do you become okay with the separation? Like, how do you become like, what made you okay with like, okay, things are changing, things are different, and I have to move on. Like for me, I think recently I was invited to hang out with some people that I used to go to church with after a church event. And for me, I didn't go because I felt like it would be weird. Like,
Mhm.
y'all are celebrating an after event. Like, this is just not me anymore. And like, I'm not that Reynald anymore. And I don't really want to hear about that. Like, and I know you don't really understand where I'm at now. So like, how do you become okay with like things are different?
I think for me it's different because I want to say I was borderline miserable.
Okay.
I'm trying to be judicial with my words in this moment because I don't know if I was miserable per se, but like I was kind of similar to you in the sense I had a bigger personality, right?
Okay.
And when you're hiding who you are, it's hard to be your full self.
Yep.
For those people who are a little more calm in nature, maybe you weren't really like suppressing a lot of behavior, so it was
Yes.
okay in the closet for you. But as for me, I wanted to burst through the seams. I wanted to be my biggest self, and it was very difficult. And so when I finally got my taste of bursting through the seams, I wasn't even worried about places that made me feel confined. I was so like fervent on like who can I find that's gonna make me feel just as big as I already think I am,
Yeah.
but how big I want to explore, you
Yeah.
know? And so for me, it was a no-brainer. Listen, if I don't feel like super, I went OD with it though. If I don't feel super liberated, super heard, super accepted, super motivated, super, I'm good, baby. I don't even want to be there, girl. Trust me, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. It hurts a little bit. I don't want to make it sound too euphoric, right?
Yeah.
Like I had 3 homeboys in college the entire duration. We played together, all the things, and you do kind of miss those friendships,
Yep.
right? And I'm being really, 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 really honest. There was a portion of my time in the journey where I missed the closeted version of myself. Like I missed the luxury of that passing. I missed the luxury
Yes.
of not knowing my sexuality. I missed the luxury of it kind of being inconspicuous because we didn't talk about the
Yeah.
luxury. You know what I'm saying? I just missed that
Yeah.
energy because I saw how people handled me after coming out and
Yeah.
they wanted to respect me more and learn me more. And that kind of is uncomfortable at times. I miss just kind of coming into the space and we, do
Yeah.
our thing. But at the same time, I wouldn't go back to shame to get those little luxuries, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Cause yeah, it does feel.
Because yeah.
It's just like it's like I really understand what you're saying because like I mean you're a steps ahead of me in this journey, but I get it. Like I'm like everything you're saying. I'm like like it makes totally sense because that is literally like what I'm living right now. I think even for me on this podcast, I think when I first came out, I was so like, oh, like I want to talk about I love men, da 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 da. And now I'm just like I don't know if like I have to say that all the time. Like I just do. Like it is what it is. Like or if I post something and I think somebody's fine on Instagram, like I don't have to post it to my close friends. I mean, if they have a girlfriend, I will post to my close friends. I think out of respect. You know what I'm saying? I will post.
Got it.
Because there is one
Got it.
man I do really like, but he has a girlfriend, and I don't want to be disrespectful. But he plays for I think it's the Patriots, number 92. Okay, but anyways, I'm not going to say that on tonight. But if he ever changes his mind, if he ever wants to spin the block, Robo Shata, he could spin it right here on the Not Safe for Church podcast. It don't even gotta be on the podcast because I like to leave. I like my lovers to be on the, not on the low, but I don't like everybody to know. I
I
like,
get it.
I just like to, I feel like I share so much with the world that I just want to have
Facts.
something private. You know what I mean?
I love that. Like me and Odell Beckham Jr.
It-
We're pretty proud of it.
okay, are y'all together?
Why wouldn't we be?
Okay, I didn't know y'all were together. I didn't see you in that one video that was going viral.
Let's keep it moving.
But anyways, what are some active steps that people can take to create space? And I mean, like all people, like what are even like in family situations or friend groups, like how can people create space for others?
Oh, so many things. I think as it relates to people dealing with younger people, drop pronouns. That's my biggest suggestion is to teachers and parents of younger children. Let go of pronouns. Stop asking little boys if they have a girlfriend at school. Ask them if they have any crushes. Allow them to come to you with the gender of that crush, right? Like stop making everything about gender because they get forced people into this binary that most people don't exist in.
Yeah.
As it relates to adults, I think, listen, I think a lot of times with allyship, you want to be such an ally that you want to be heard and seen and felt and revered. But at the same time, a big part of allyship in any space is to just listen, right? Like encounter the room, read the room, ingest what's happening, and show up for people, right? I think it's a two-way street, of course. And also use your resources before you use your people. Oftentimes we are burdening people in the community with questions and having to answer these things and the responsibility of educating you. And there are too many resources. There's this big thing called Google. You can figure out most questions before I have to ask the person. So I would suggest those few things, and then it will get you started on your space creating journey.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I think I one thing I hate, like when I go to Christian spaces, they're like, how are you Christian? How are you gay? It's just like, I've answered that question 30 times. Like, I don't want to answer. And first of all, it's a monogamous relationship. Like, you're not in my relationship with God, so mind your business. It's that simple. Like, when I pray, I don't be talking about you. I mean, I might be my friend or you need prayer, I'll call you out by name, but I don't be asking God, like, how is she saying she want to lose weight, but she's still eating donuts every morning or at Chick-fil-A every morning? Like, I don't do that, you know? And I'm not even talking about nobody. I really am not. I promise I'm not. I know there's nobody on my head because I know some people be thinking that. Okay, on this avenue of creating space, Obio, I think sometimes people, I think even as a gay community or LGBTQ, I think people don't know how to live in a space where we don't have to agree to belong. Do you where do you stand on that? Because that might be a little. Because for me, I don't need you to agree with me. I don't need, and I'm okay with understanding that you may not have done the work to get to where I am. Because there was a certain point in my life where I had not done the work, and I was living in the dark. And now that I'm in the light, I'm like, okay, I get it. So I don't mind doing life with people who don't understand. And so how do you create space for people who may have opposing opinions than you and don't see the world like you do?
I don't. Praise God. And so I think there's a fine line between the two, right?
Okay.
I'm not giving you anything to agree with, to be honest. Like my sexual orientation is not a thing that's on the chopping block to be agree or disagree with. This who I am. And so if you don't agree with who I am, then you shouldn't be here. Now, whether or not you agree with how in which I exhibit, how in which I portray myself, the way in which I carry myself, that's not my sexual orientation, right? It could be a byproduct of such, but a lot of things that I'm attaching to sexual orientation are just who people are. Yeah. Like, I'm sick people do the most. That's not because he's gay. He just does the most. Period. Right? Like I'm a gay person. Like, right? I'm not necessarily the most flamboyant guy in the room. Yeah. It's not because I'm gay. It's because he's a flamboyant person. That's what you don't like. And I think people just attach all these things to sexual orientation. They have nothing. I like guys. Yeah. That's where it starts and stops. Now, everything else is about my personality. If I want to, whatever. If I want to snap, if I want to use some lingo, whatever that looks like, if you don't appreciate that, that's who I am in behavior, which is fine. But I think I want to see a space where we stop accrediting behavior to sexual orientation because they're two totally different things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think for me, I think we can miss out on valuable relationships just because people don't see things the same way we do. You know?
And tell me those things.
Okay, like I think and this might be my past experience just from my life lived. There are one of my closest friends, I don't want to put words in the mouth. Jeff, he's been on this podcast. He's one of my closest friends. We literally had dinner 2 weeks ago. Like, that's my guy. I know that he does not agree with same-sex relations, right? But I know he loves me. And I know that.
What do we mean by agree? I guess my question, like, he doesn't agree or doesn't see them as viable and under the confines of religion. He doesn't see them as what does agree?
I believe he would probably say that it's not God's best. I'm not living in God's best for me, according to him, right?
Okay. Okay.
And I also could say to him, I'm like, "Oh, you just over the top. Like, you doing too much." Like, I always like, oh, God, like, when you get to heaven, God's going to be like, dude, you was doing a lot. Like, it wasn't that deep. Like, just love people and shut the hell up. And so we both see each other like totally, but it's something about our friendship that it brings back. I think I like knowing that, I don't know. To me, I feel like that's where real love comes into place. Because real love starts when you don't agree.
Yeah, I think it's contingent, right? I think it's contingent upon what you don't agree with. If you don't agree with things that are core to me, I don't know how we'll be in friendship, right? Like if you don't, it's not like a relationship, right? If you and I were dating and you don't agree with monogamy, and I did, then I mean, how we gonna make it work, right? But right, but if we're
Hallelujah.
but say we're in a relationship and you don't agree with the fact that I eat pork and that doesn't affect you, then maybe we can still be in a relationship. So I think it kind of boils down to like how core is what you disagree with. And for me, my sexual orientation plays a big part in my life because again, I don't want close friends that can't come to my wedding. I don't want close friends that can't godparent my children. I don't want close friends that I can't invite over with my partner cooking dinner. You know, like certain things that are core. And I feel like you're holding your breath around me. I don't know how close we can be. And I think it becomes that tough pill to swallow on
Yeah.
this journey when you start to realize that. I'm not saying this is going to be Jeff. Jeff's a good looking guy. Hopefully you keep him close. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, on this journey,
Yep.
it becomes tough to make those really tough decisions
Yep.
that you can't fully support me. And I need to be fully supported.
Yep.
So what does that look like? And it doesn't always mean cut people off. I want to make that very clear in this moment. It doesn't always mean they have to go away. It means there can be some tough dialogue for some hearts to change. And I've seen that personally in some of my friendships, even with my family members, right?
Yeah.
I've changed some hearts. Hey, listen, the way in which you are handling me is going to impede upon you and I being in proximity. Is that what you're ready for?
Yeah.
And they say no, and then we have to work on, well, how do we come to a conclusion? What does this look like? I'm not gonna not be gay. I'm gonna continue to love and support you. I want to feel loved and supported.
Yeah. And I think and I get what you're saying. I think every friendship is different because I know if I got married, Jeff would come. He may not agree, but he would be there and he would be happy for me. He would be like, okay, I don't really okay, but I'm there. Like, so it's different. There's also certain friends that I know I would not invite to my wedding because I know they don't really, mess with the whole. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like that friend who can't dress. Like I know I'm gonna what you wear. I'm not
Oh,
gonna agree, but
Jesus. Oh, I'd be like, oh, sometimes I have some friends. I'd be like, what are you going to wear when we go out? But also, I don't really, oh God, I'm not going to say this out loud. All my women friends, all my friends are typically very attractive. Like everybody that like I hang out with, they're pretty hot. Like, I don't have one friend that I'm like, it's not hot.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all pretty attractive.
Go. Period.
I'm not saying all, but I would say 90% of my friends are very attractive. They're very attractive.
Come on,
Uh,
attractive.
so Obio, I think my next question would be to you is, you're on this journey. Like, where do you see yourself going? Like, what is the next step in creating space? Like, when you keep creating space. Like, where do you see yourself going with that? Like, what's the trajectory?
Yeah. So at this point, I think I'm gonna start touring colleges. So I'm
Okay,
just speaking to universities. I spoke at Georgia State, at
period.
University here. I'll be in Kentucky at University of Louisville in a few weeks. Like I wanna start to get on the college level because I feel like the collegiate level is when a lot of us start to explore.
Yep.
Right. In grade school, we kind of have the feelings. What is this thing called? We can kind of suppress it for a little minute. But then once them tassels get to turning, things also get to turning, huh? And
My
so,
God.
I was
Ooh. Jeez, I just got out of a 6th year from college to. I said I'm not bringing that man into 27. He got to stay. He's got to stay. I met him at Point University. I saw him the latest when I saw him in October somewhere, and I said, no, that's it. It's over. I brought that college weight too long. We carried it too far. That burden has to be lifted.
and blessed be the lamb, because I don't know how toxic it was, but it becomes those when we're all navigating, it just becomes very difficult. And I think for me, I want to make sure I'm like getting people where in which I can be the most useful. And of course, still do brand partnerships on social media, partnering with different brands. I
Yeah.
did a video recently with IKEA, just doing things that are bringing awareness to different corporations. But the main goal, honestly, is to just really touch people in the community, man, and really
Yeah.
start to have those conversations around how do you be liberated? What does that look like? Conversations like this. What does friendship look like? All the things that are affecting us in a major way, because it's a lot to navigate, you know, when you're
Yeah.
trying to navigate who you are, but also not be in a silo, not be isolated, not to
Yeah.
lose all your friends and family, but also still want to be respected and affirmed.
Yeah. Do you feel like
Yeah.
you found a new community as you have walked into your truth at a greater level? What has, from when you started this journey to where you are now, like what has been the greatest shift in your community?
Ooh, yeah. I think I've had to, how candid are we being? I guess it can be really candid, right? So I think I had to let go of certain ideals that I had as a shameful man. You
Yeah.
know, I think for me in shame, I sexualized almost everything because that was kind of the fullness of what my interaction with guys was
Yeah.
as a class person. You know, it wasn't like we can go hold hands and go to dinner. You know, it just wasn't a reality.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of what existed in the dark, I kind of still kept that same mentality. So I was interacting with new people. I still was trying to look at them in ways that wasn't conducive for friendship, wasn't conducive for, you know, us to be in community and grow together. And
Yeah.
so for me, the big issue has been actually having platonic, honest, free thinking, liberated friendships, you know, and I think
Yeah.
it doesn't still spook me now, but there was a time, bro, where am I really in a group setting with some gay guys?
Yeah.
Like, is this real life?
Yeah.
Like me, you
Yeah.
know, am I really in community? And I was at I hate to keep doing the thing, but I feel like I sound like I was here, but I was at BT had an event for
Period. Obio, you better walk out. I hate, let me tell you something. When people going through bad stuff, they like, oh, everybody want to talk about the bad stuff, but when good things are happening, talk about it. Like, I hate when people don't talk about good things. Like, it's a moment. Let's celebrate. Like, life is hard. When something good happens, it's okay to talk about it. If I pray you at
yeah,
BT, I pray you at the Grammys next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to win. I want to be happy for people. I rejoice with those who rejoice. There's some
I
people
love
who
that.
don't rejoice with those who rejoice, and they life be
Rejoice with
looking
me.
like shame. But
But
praise
yeah,
God.
so that this event that BT threw and to be surrounded by so many people in the community
Yeah.
was wild. I think also because I hadn't met a lot of the letters, right? I didn't know, I'd never met a trans person before, you
Hmm.
know, and now I have trans friends, you know, and both male and but both men and women. You know, I
Yeah.
have so many different experiences and kinds of people in my community. And I think also a byproduct isn't about some of the frivolous things that I once carried when I had my straight friends, to be honest. A lot
Yeah.
of that stuff I realized was a little more materialistic when I was interacting with my straight friends, right? Like, do we both fly? Where we
Yeah.
both, you know, they both get women, we both good
Yeah.
looking, that kind of stuff. But now it's more like, what's your heart talking about?
Yeah.
Where's your character?
Yeah.
Like how can I be more me around you? How can you be more you around me? Those kinds of things.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
it's important. Man.
that is something I've learned recently, like in coming out. I feel like for so long I was like scared of like what other people think if I was friends with this person or that person. And now I really don't give a freak. I have one of my close friends, Premier. I mean, he got body for days. And I mean, will
Period.
wear a skirt. He was on the podcast. I mean, Premier is just, he's that bitch. Like, if you see Premier, it's like,
I love it.
period. And I
I love
think I remember one time he asked me, he was like, and then when before I came out, he was like, "What if I want to go to church?" And I felt uneasy because I knew if he came to church and he had a skirt on, like I was like, I don't know what those people would say. But now I'm in such a place now where, and this is just where I'm at on my journey. Please don't kill me because I know some of the saints watch, and I love everybody. I don't really go to church like that anymore. I don't
mm,
want to be in those toxic environments. Now,
mm,
especially like white evangelical, I just can't do it. One thing about black people is I could still sing at a black church and nobody would say nothing. Like it's like, yeah, he's doing what he's doing. They mind their business. But yeah, so I still go to black church. But yeah, I refuse to walk into a no, I'm not saying I refuse to walk into because I might go, but it's just not something that I wake up on Sunday morning like I wanna. Yeah, because I don't want to walk in spaces where you need me to be somebody else to show. Yeah, I just can't do it. I can't do it no more, and I'm okay.
And that's an amazing place to be. Like, honestly, when not being you feels foreign,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And I think that's the part that like clicks for a lot of people on their journey, right? Because for myself, being me felt foreign.
Yep.
Because I wasn't me all the time. You know what I'm saying? I was more so portraying what it meant to be a person who's passable in society, a person who could be frontline, a person who just had a comfortable experience through the world. But now that I'm in my fullness, it almost feels weird to not be able to be my full self. Like, huh?
Yeah.
I can't wear this. I can't say this. I can't do this. Like, I'll pass.
And I feel like it comes to everything too. Like when you really start walking in it. Like I remember when I used to work, I worked at predominantly white churches, and I used to feel weird about like posting things about being black and being proud to be black and like just certain things. And now I feel so liberated when it comes to life in general. Like I'm just me. And I think I had some trial and error, on this podcast, last season. And there's some things I said, I wish I didn't need to say, but I was just trying to figure out who I was because I had never been this person. Like, I'm some things I watch back, I'm like, oh, I said that. Like
all part of the process.
That was all nasty. Like, oh, I don't want everybody to know I'm a certified freak 7 days a week. You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes that's what God called. God, maybe God wanted the saints to know. And whoever's listening. But Obio, I'm really crazy, and this is just crazy to me. I think another just byproduct of like when you really start to live into who you're supposed to be. Like the people that I looked up to, like the person that I had last week on last week's episode. And like somebody like you, it's like God will really connect you to like really just amazing people when you start to walk in who you're supposed to be. And like, I don't feel like I had an example like in church of like how to come out and I was a worship leader. Like I didn't have that example, but knowing that like, man, like you were a text away and you didn't know me from Adam's apple. Like that was amazing to me. And like, you really are like who you say you are. There's some people you watch on YouTube. There's some people you hear sing, because there's one gospel artist, or just people in general. You experience them in real life, and you be like, there's one person, I can't even hear his songs no more. Like, when he sings certain songs, I just be like, I just be like, I need to wrap up this episode. Come on. Well, y'all, I would like to thank my sponsors, my co-host, Obio. Thank you for being on. I want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. I want to thank Claiborne Urban Loops. Remember to subscribe and share. Then you can give and receive. Come on, I love a giver and a receiver. Come on, follow us on at NSFC Podcast. Till the next time, Jesus is for everybody, 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 everybody.